It's one of the most successful sports cars in history. But the question is, do you go for the manual or the more comfortable automatic? In essence, it doesn't really matter, as the MX-5 is so much fun to drive. But if you can't drive a manual, are you really missing out on much? Before we get stuck into the drive, just have a quick look at the new model. So this has got the updated bumper bar at the front end, some little tweaks underneath, but basically it's the same fundamentals as before. I think it looks really nice. I love the way that the body has been carried over to the interior. That's like back in the 70s. It just has a really curvaceous, consistent look. The front matches the back and the sides. It just looks very well proportioned, very elegant and sexy. I'm not a huge fan of these wheels on this variant. They kind of look like second-hand car yard specials, but I do like that they've got the black inner spokes and then they match the side skirts. Even this aerial here just looks so cool. I don't know why, but just having that at the back, it's almost like a rear wing for some reason. It just kind of has that visual appeal. It's a bit of an angle as well. And this is the RF version, so you get the full hardtop roof, electronic folding. There's even a little window there. And in the back, to open the boot, you've got this little secret button. And you've got some storage space there, enough for a weekend away or something like that. There's been no changes under the bonnet, still a 2-litre naturally aspirated engine, 135 kilowatts. I think back in the 70s and 80s, if you saw this under the bonnet of a lightweight sports car like this, you'd be just absolutely over the moon. Let alone this has got the refinement and luxury of a modern vehicle. Even so, I can't help but wonder what it would be like with a turbocharged engine, even if it was a bit smaller, like a 1.6 or something like that, just to give it a bit more low-down torque. However, that's not what this vehicle is about. This is about enjoying the complete rev range. You don't want instant torque in a lightweight sports car like this. You just want to be able to enjoy the whole rev range, because if it had a turbocharger, you might not explore the upper end at all. Inside, we've got a high-quality interior. Mazda always do very good interiors. Got Bose speakers integrated into the headrests there. This has obviously got the tan trim. It looks very elegant, definitely matches the exterior. It is quite a tight cabin, even for me. I'm 170 centimeters, but it just definitely feels very intimate in here. Like, look how close my head is to that pillar. But again, that's what kind of car this is. I think the earlier MX-5s actually just felt a bit more spacious inside. So you do, if you're quite a large person, I think you would feel a bit sort of claustrophobic, a bit tight in here. For me, if I'm focusing on driving, it's totally fine. And especially if you've got the roof up, you've got that complete, endless headroom kind of sensation. The driving position is also very good. You've got rake and reach adjustment for the steering column, and all of the main controls are conveniently placed. It's intuitive too, so you know that twisting that will turn the heat up a bit, and then you've got the fan control in the middle. I quite like Mazda's MZD Connect system as well. The only problem is it's not ideal when you've connected with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. I haven't actually tested Android Auto, but I'm guessing it's going to be the same. It just means you've got to use this toggle wheel to rotate through all of your apps. So all of these apps, you've got to rotate around to get to the app that you want. You can't use touch functionality when you're driving along, when you're just using the MZD Connect. But if you flick it over to Apple CarPlay, you can use the touch screen, which is weird. So I can go through all of the different options using touch. Very simple gauge cluster with mechanical or analog dials. It actually sounds pretty good for a 2-litre naturally aspirated engine. It's got this sort of raspiness to it and a bit of bass as well. As you can see there, we're averaging 7.6 litres per 100 kilometres, which is not ideal, I guess, for such a lightweight little vehicle. I think a turbocharged engine would definitely see that reduced a bit, especially if it could weigh as much as this. But we have been thrashing it around a little bit. And you tend to give it some, especially the automatic, I find, but then again, the manual you kind of do as well, because you're changing gears and you want to keep changing gears. So the fuel consumption goes up with that too, I guess. But yeah, excellent quality in here. All the materials feel really nice. Even the plastic on the dash, it doesn't feel like scratchy, cheap stuff. It just feels very sturdy, different textures as well. It's not just the same basic elephant skin stuff. And you've got some carbon fiber look kind of trim down there too. Not much storage in here though. You do have a little pocket at the back here, and they've got the detachable cup holders, and then down below you've got a very small center console box, just big enough for a small iPhone. If you've got a full-size phone, it's probably not going to fit in there. And you do have a glove box as well. All right, let's go for a drive, and I'll try and show you what it's like. I'll do one part of the driving with the roof down, but I do have the microphone on, but I'm not sure how it's going to sound. But then I'll do a second portion of the drive with the roof up, just in case the sound is not the best for taking in the complete experience. We are testing the manual version in the coming weeks as well. I'll do a separate video for that, including for the 0 to 100. You obviously still get that open air experience with the automatic. I've just got the windows up to try and stop a bit of the wind noise for you. But yeah, it is pretty exciting. You know, you're exposed to the exterior of the car. It's almost like riding a motorbike. Not quite, but you're getting towards that sort of level of just knowing that you're moving along. Now there is a sport mode which I've engaged, and I've also got the stability control turned off just to give me a little bit of freedom. Not that I'm expecting it to kick out anyway, because it just doesn't have enough torque to do that really. Not using just throttle anyway. You can definitely use momentum, kick the tail out, but under throttle it just doesn't have enough torque. It's 205 Newton meters, which is pretty low, but 135 kilowatts, yeah, it does feel pretty good. When you rev it out, if you just putter around in D and sort of give it half throttle, it doesn't go that well, but once you start revving it out, that's when you'll see, because this only weighs 1100 kilograms, even in automatic form, in this RF configuration, which is a bit heavier. It's got the hard top roof. But yeah, if you go back to the manual mode, definitely good handling in these things. Yeah, if you just keep the revs high, that's flat to the floor, it does go quite well. I guess what would make it better is an 8-speed automatic, something with a bit more, more ratios, just to divide up that torque and spread it a bit further. Because each gear is reasonably long, I guess. There is a different gearing ratio compared with the manual as well. The manual is a bit punchier. I'll flash up the exact diff ratios now so you can see the difference. It starts to kick out a little bit, but yeah, only when you rev it, when you got the engine revving. Awesome handling these things though. But on a country road like this, or pretty ordinary road like this, it absorbs the bumps really well and doesn't disrupt the overall directional stability of the car. So down through there is quite bumpy, but it just hung on and remained very manageable. With the roof up, which is good timing actually, it's starting to sprinkle some rain. The RF version, it just becomes a more refined and kind of more luxurious, almost Grand Tourer, because it's all, much quieter inside, even compared with the soft top version. I don't know which one I'd go for actually. I'd probably go for the soft top just because you get that full experience, and you're not using this every day, or you might use it every day, but you can still use the soft top every day and you just get that slight weight advantage, lower weight. So what's the verdict? Should you go for the automatic or the manual? Well, if you can't drive a manual, then obviously that's not an option for you at all. But if you can drive both, just maybe think about where you're going to be driving this. Are you driving it every day? Because if you are, maybe the automatic is a bit more comfortable for you, and in traffic and so on, you don't have to worry about putting the clutch in and out. But if you're just driving it on the weekends, I would personally choose the manual, because it's just a bit more engaging. It feels a bit quicker as well. The gearing is a bit different. And yeah, it's a really nice gear shift too, so you get that extra level of enjoyment. Even if you're not, thrashing it around, just changing gears, it just feels good doing that. All right, let's head out now to do the performance test and see what it goes like.